Hey you guys, it's Mikkel with the Munson Schoolhouse. I'm so excited to come on here. Um, Good news, my website is back up after several months of it not working. So I'm putting the link below to my website. I feel like the spring coming on, and the spring is my favorite season. I'm feeling rejuvenated and excited and just like a new wind of energy. So there's that, although it's raining today. All right, so this video, I wanted to share how we kind of changed up scripture and how it's really, really working. And it's just small and simple. And it makes me think of the scripture, by small and simple things, great things come to pass. And with this, it's so true. So the main thing with my school, why I'm homeschooling my kids, if this is the first video you're watching, I have 4 kids. I've homeschooled them for growing on to 6 years. I have high school all the way down to grade school. And every time I go back to my purpose in homeschooling, because we often have to revisit that as homeschool moms, right? When we get overwhelmed, or when our kids are like, I need friends, or I want social, or whatever, we have to revisit why we're here. Why are we doing this? And it always comes back to the greatest thing that I want my kids to learn. The one thing I want them to leave my home with when they are ready to spread their wings and go off and live their lives is how to hear the voice of the Lord and to know the Lord. That is my goal. You know, they might not learn everything they need to learn in science. They might not read every book, although they are like tearing through my library and I can't seem to keep up with the books, but so that's not a problem here. But you know what I mean is, what is the main purpose? And so this little, let's just say, this nugget that we found out, that the God helped us figure out for scripture study, is helping us get there. Okay, so backstory. I went and got all these other curriculums online. There's so many amazing things out there. And, I got one, I printed it all off. I made these packets for my kids and I set them all out for the first day of scripture study. And we come into the room here and we gather around. And I have my son who's 12, Asher. He kind of looks in front of him and is like fumbling through all the worksheets and stuff that I thought was cool. And he's kind of like, what is all this? And I'm like, it's our Doctrine and Covenant study. Isn't it cool? Like, I'm thinking, this is so cool. And part of me is like, you better like it. I spent like 4 hours printing it last night. And he's like, why do we need all this? Don't we just need the scriptures? And I was silent. The Lord was talking through him. And I felt the truth in his words at that moment, and I knew it was God talking to me through my son, which often happens when you homeschool. At that very moment, I was like, you're right. Throw it all out. So we cleared the table, we got rid of everything, and let me show you what we do now, and it's amazing. So we come to scripture with our scriptures. Imagine that. Scriptures, note card, pencil, and I have my Come Follow Me book. But in front of the kids is scripture, their note card, and a pencil. Okay, so I'm going to call this my little note card nugget for scripture study. Okay, so what I did is I got these little boxes, these note card boxes. And I think I got them at Office Depot. You could probably get them on Amazon. I got one for each child and for me, and they could decorate it however they wanted and label their name or whatever they wanted. And inside, they have their note cards, and they can make little tags if they want. But that's all it is. It's their little box, and every day, this is how we use it. So for the day, I'll be like, we're reading section 3 or whatever chapter you're reading. Everyone opens up their scriptures to where we're reading with their pencil and their note card, okay? And we quietly read. Now, my kids are 8 years old. My twin boys are 12, and I have a high school daughter. It works for 8 and up. I could see it could work for 6 and up, could work for 7 and up. If you have little tots, yes, you're going to need coloring activities, Play-Doh, you're going to need to totally like do something different with your little tots, right? But this works with 8 years old and up. And honestly, I would have started it at 7, maybe even 6. They could maybe draw a picture on this note card or do doodle or whatever. So I say, okay, we have everything. We start reading. We read silently. My youngest, who is 8 years old, he's a fabulous reader, but with the scriptures, he just likes to hear it in his ear too. So I actually put an audio version of the scriptures in his ear while he's reading. I don't know why, but he can understand it better doing audio and visual at the same time. So there you go. There's a suggestion there. So it's quiet and peaceful, and it's allowing the Lord to speak to them. So after we read, what they do is they pick out a scripture that they read and they write it on their note card on the front. And then on the back, they can write anything personal to them, anything that applies to them through that scripture or whatever. And then what they do when they're done is they take their note card. All right, guys, technical difficulty. My phone just splattered on the floor. Yeah, I'm back though. All right, so what they're going to do is they're going to take the note card that they wrote on and they're going to put it in their little box and they're going to keep it with them. Okay, reasons I love this, and it's a completely like divine inspiration, at least in our home. Like I said, my main goal with raising up my children is so that they can hear the voice of the Lord, that they know where to find his voice, that they know where to find answers of truth, and that they know how to discern, and that they can feel his love and his direction personally for them. This has allowed that. I've seen it every single day. So what it's teaching them is, where do they find truth and where can they find the Lord? In the scriptures. And as we're studying the scriptures and as we're reading, the Spirit's it's helping them to recognize the Spirit and to hear God's voice through those scriptures and to be able to pull it out and put it in their hearts, write it down, right? Write it down, translate it to them personally, and keep it, okay? Like we're keeping it in our heart, we're keeping it. And that way they're going to be able to have a record of all the things the Lord told them, of all the truths that he taught them, the direction that he gave them. And this is their little record. In a sense, this is their own doctrine and covenants personally to them in their little folder. And we also do this, we're studying the Doctrine and Covenants right now, but we're also reading the Book of Mormon twice a week. I put that into our scripture study because we needed to keep in there anything in the Bible. They're going to be writing in there. Any scripture study we do from any scripture is going to go in this little box. So I wanted to share that with you. It's just so simple. It's so small. And sometimes we get lost in the making it fun and frou-frou, and we just add so much stuff and junk to our scripture time. Even as adults, there's so much on YouTube. There's so much out there that we could, so many sources we could use to study our scriptures. But it's really taught me personally that to kind of sift out all the other voices and just go straight to the scriptures and let the Lord speak to me directly through this word rather than it being translated by someone else and then brought to me. This is just his pure word speaking directly to me and directly to my kids. So I wanted to share that. I've really seen just a sweet rewards from it, and I'm seeing my kids start to love the scriptures. They've always have, but they're starting to really find the Lord in them and find how the Lord talks to them through the scriptures, and seeing that to get answers and to get that truth, they know where to go. They know to go to the scriptures and to pray and to work it out on their own in their own heart. And this isn't to say that the other curriculums or things offered, we won't use. Obviously, we do. There's amazing videos out there we watch and, fun stuff we do here and there. But ultimately, we have been keeping it very small and simple for our scripture study, and it's been such a blessing. I hope this helped you, and if anything, I just make these videos to maybe be a sense of inspiration. I know maybe you won't even use what I say, but as I'm talking, the Spirit can talk to you and inspire you to maybe do something for your own family, something that will work in your own way, with your own kids, with your own family, and help build that learning, that connection with the Lord. Because I know so many of you guys that are here, you are homeschooling for the same reason I am. It's to protect them, it's to prepare them, and it's to arm them, and it's to bring them closer to the Lord and have a testimony of the Lord. And that's why we do this. And so every little thing counts. And just to remember, by small and simple things, great things come to pass. And I know what you guys are doing in your home is just a huge, huge footprint in God's work. Now's the time where we need to press into Him, and we need to lean into Him, and we need to really just be linked with Him. And that's what comes first. So with Scripture is the first thing on our day. And sometimes, because I have teenagers, we are waking up a little late. Sometimes they're like, Mom, it is already like 10, we need to get moving. I'm like, no, like this is why we're doing this. We are going to spend time in the Scriptures and listening to the Spirit and figuring out what the Lord wants us to do today. And I don't care if that takes us till lunch, but we are doing it. Find little ways that you can sift out the clutter, sift out the frou-frou, and cleanse everything you do to just be pure, simple, small, but allow those great things to happen. Thank you guys for watching. I am so glad that I can come to your homes and see you and be part of your life. It's just such a blessing to me. And if you want to send me any comments or emails or messages, please visit my website. That's the best way to get a hold of me, and that link is below. I love you guys. Keep moving forward in God's work. It is making a difference, and we are being prepared, and our kids are being prepared for huge, huge things, and I know you feel that. Bye. We'll talk to you later.